There we go. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. All right, now we're rolling. What is up, nerds? It's me, your buddy, HeyArcher. Welcome back to my channel. Sorry for the delay. Crazy morning. Crazy morning. We had the Snyder Cut release happen. So I definitely want us to discuss that. Of course, at the moment, my camera switcher is not even working. So, oh man, as always, a nice Charlie Foxtrot to start today. There we go. There we go. Here on Nerdy Coffee, we talk about usually the latest and greatest show, but today we're actually talking about a movie. We're talking about the Snyder Cut. This will be a quick review. I'll take the first minute or two just to talk non-spoilers in case you roll on into this, but we will talk spoilers after that. So, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, hit the thumbs up, comment down below, interact. We're just gonna start rolling. We're gonna start rolling, and of course, my music isn't working because I deleted everything on there. Hilarious. All right, so right away, I will say this. I'll worry about the music later. The 4-hour runtime of this movie was unnecessary. Unnecessary. Did I enjoy the movie? I did on the second half. I thought the second half of the movie was very, very enjoyable, but the 4-hour runtime was just too much. Like, I was up at 5 in the morning to watch this movie because I have to watch the movie, do this review, head to work. So I debated for a while. I debated like pausing the movie, going back to sleep, and then waking up, fast forwarding, and then starting it because I was just like, there's too much in here that's like unnecessary. And at the end of the day, it turned out that a lot of the stuff in the beginning, it actually was unnecessary. So there's my non-spoiler review. There's some cool extras in there. There's some cool extras. A couple extra scenes. Definitely more explanation, even as far as Cyborg goes. The relationship between Cyborg and his dad is very well fleshed out. You get an extra couple minutes of Flash, nothing crazy. But overall, they do kind of change what Batman's methods are. Like that's kind of changed. The way that the story progresses is similar. But there's a couple little differences in there that I'll talk about in the spoiler portion that we'll just roll into now. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I can discuss that is not a spoiler. Blah, 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 did all that. Oh, okay. The other thing I can say that's not a spoiler is Steppenwolf. In this movie, Steppenwolf, his reasons changed, which I actually enjoyed. In this one, Steppenwolf is essentially trying to get back in favor with Darkseid. So that being said, it makes his reasons make sense. Like he's on Earth to conquer it for Darkseid because he's trying to get back in favor. He's fallen out of favor with him. There must have been some sort of coup that he was part of. Last minute, he decides that he doesn't want to be part of the coup, and then he still gets banished from Apocalypse. That you don't see any of that, but that's kind of what they're implying. And then you do get more scenes of the invasion of Earth originally. So that part's pretty cool. But right now we're going to jump into spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers and somehow slipped in here, this is your chance to escape. Otherwise, we're going full spoilers. 3, 2, 1. All right. Knocking some of the BS out of the way here. No pun in the BVS or anything like that. It's hilarious that in this movie, Wonder Woman can't fly. I forgot about that, but they made her fly at the end of 1984. So that alone is kind of like, did you guys even watch the previous movies or you just kind of made something up? A funny thing that I liked about this is Aquaman continuing to just rip his shirt off every time he can just to jump in the water. I'm like, where's he getting all these shirts from? Little things like that I thought were just kind of funny. The movie would have gone so much faster if they just eased up on the slow motion. Like the first hour and a half of this movie was so much slow motion for so little effect. Like it didn't do anything. Like it was just things were happening slow, and yeah, the fight scenes in the beginning were kind of cool. Like they redid the scene where Steppenwolf arrives in the mascara. So that whole fight scene changes. The ending of that fight scene kind of changes. I thought it changed for the better. I actually liked it, but it's so much slow mo in there for no reason. Uh, so the movie progresses, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, too much of this. Like they're randomly throwing in Lois Lane again, randomly throwing in Martha Kent again. Doesn't do anything. They're talking about Batman's wanting to bring everybody together. He's going on this mission, but then a lot of it ends up shifting into Cyborg and like showing you how Cyborg got his powers, the strife between him and his dad. You see how Flash. Actually, you don't see how Flash got his powers. I almost said that. That's what they should have done, but they didn't do that. They end up showing Flash like going for a job, and he ends up saving Iris West, and then that gets pushed to the side. Wonder Woman, what I get confused by too here, that I think I'm confused here because of 1984, is she's working in a museum, but I'm like, wait, she was doing that in 1984. Nobody questions why she's so young. Nobody, like it's there's they expanded all these little storylines, but some of them were unnecessary. I think they could have left the Flash part out. They could have left the Wonder Woman elaboration out of there. How she ends up finding a tomb that tells the story of Darkseid. So they could have left all that out. She could have just told Batman, and then just focused mainly on Cyborg, and that would have knocked out a good amount of the movie there. You had the same Aquaman scenes, so that was good in the beginning, and then you finally get to the part of the original movie where the heroes come together, they put the costumes in, and then they go to Gotham City. And that was what I wrote it down actually. That was an hour and 50 minutes in. So the scene where everybody, Batman assembles everybody and does all that blah blah blah, like that whole segment, an hour and 50 minutes until they get to the point where they're all in uniforms and they're all like, okay, we need to save this final mother box. So unnecessary. What I did like that they expanded on was they say that if you don't know this, Darkseid, the villain, first of all, they put him into the scene, the Invasion of Earth scene that took place thousands of years ago. That was cool. He lost. They replaced Steppenwolf getting pulled out and losing with Darkseid. Essentially, that's a good way to think about it. And you saw Green Lantern there and all that. They mentioned the Green Lanterns in this movie, I think 3 times I counted, or might have been 2 or 3 times. They mentioned the Lantern specifically. So you get that segment there. Oh, I lost where I was going with it. Oh, so it turns out that Darkseid, he goes world to world, conquering worlds, but you never really know why he's doing it. But you always know, if you follow the lore, if you watch the cartoons, that Darkseid is all about the anti-life equation. That's what he's trying to get. A Thanos type mentality. Like he just wants to end life because life is whatever. So Steppenwolf ends up finding out by touching one of the mother boxes that Earth is the key to figuring out the anti-life equation. And then he tells Darkseid, and Darkseid's like, all right, yeah, you need to conquer Earth. I'll come there once you conquer it. So I like that they fleshed that part out. Now, what's up, Steve? Good to see you. And gonna check out After You're Alive. Awesome. So little Easter eggs before I get to like the ending of the movie. Dr. Ryan Choi. So Dr. Stone, Victor Stone's dad, has an assistant, Ryan Choi, and they keep like showing him in there, and they keep at the end of the movie they're like, oh, this is now your lab, whatever. Dr. Ryan Choi ends up becoming the Atom at some point in DC Comics. So that's who that was. That's where that little Easter egg kind of was. A wasted scene in this movie, Martian Manhunter. So Martian Manhunter, there's the scene in the movie where Martha Wayne goes to see Lois Lane and talk to her about coming out of depression and need to like go back out into the world and whatnot. Turns out that was Martian Manhunter, because when she leaves the apartment, shape shifts back into Martian Manhunter. Unnecessary. Did nothing. It told us that he was there now, but otherwise it did nothing to the story. And that happened early in the movie. That happened about, actually, yeah, early in the movie is like more like just before the halfway mark. That happens then, and then he doesn't show up for any of the rest. The world is being destroyed, and Martian Manhunter doesn't show up until the very end of the movie, where he tells Bruce Wayne, all right, I'll help you out. But mind you, he's the general or whatever in the army. So him being like, I'm not going to be a part of all this, but now I'm going to be a part of all this. He was already part. He's part of all this already. So that in itself, kind of stupid. That did nothing for me. And then we have Superman comes back. They kind of change part of it where the ship is telling Cyborg, don't bring him back. Like, no good can come from this. It shows him a future where Superman does turn bad, a future where Apocalypse takes over. So I like that. It gave him kind of like that premonition. It showed him a possible outcome in the future. It's the same future that Bruce Wayne sees as a dream. But in this movie, he talks about the dream. You don't see the dream until the end of the movie when you have him, again, have the dream. You see, that's the scene where Joker comes in. Joker comes in to the dream sequence at the end of the movie when Batman envisions a future where Joker even tells him, you know, there's multiverses here, and you keep trying to jump multiverses to stop like the inevitable. So that's where that all comes from. Sorry, my phone started to ring. What else do I have in the notes here? That was a dream sequence. You get a little bit more of Deathstroke, but in the dream sequence, nothing crazy there. And that's about it. It was a lot of extra for no reason. So, did I like the movie? I liked the second half of it. Do you need to see the whole movie? Did it need to be 4 hours? No, it did not. So, I was not a fan of that part. I'm glad we have it. I'm glad it's over. They do like a Flashpoint, where Flash undoes the destruction of the world, just to let you know that he can do it. So maybe that leads to something different. I'm not sure. But aside from that, it was okay. It's an okay movie. It doesn't change as much as BVS, the Snyder Cut, does, but it's still enjoyable. Otherwise, I want you to tell me what you think. And I'll talk about this later in a 2-minute review. I'll go more in depth, but I wanted to give you my real-time post-show thoughts. So, that being said, I hope that all of you get a chance to see the movie. You should still see it. Maybe take breaks. You don't need to watch it 4 hours straight, but it's decent. It's decent. I was looking at the wrong camera. I'm sorry. It's decent enough. So watch it. Let me know. You're not missing anything though if you don't watch it. I'll say that. Tonight, 8 p.m. HeyArcher Live. I'll see you there. I'm sure we'll talk about this. Probably with no spoilers though. Maybe I'll fix my music by then. Who knows? I'll make sure the microphone's plugged into the right port though. That will happen for sure. Again, if you want to support the channel, buymeacoffee.com/HeyArcher. HeyArcher.com for all you cool merch. Yeah. Talk to you nerds tonight at 8 p.m. Peace.